Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Good morning. So, hope everyone are doing good. Okay. Okay. So, did you guys completed your practicals on Git? Everyone done? Git? Good. Online? How about you? Super. Nice. Okay. So that was on the Git that we have learned, and today let's move on to the next tool, which is Maven. Which one is that? Maven. Online, put it in the chat. What is the tool name? Maven. So we know this Maven is a what tool? Build tool. Oh, Maven is what tool? Build tool. It's very easy. So actually, once the developer has developed the code, so what they need to do? They need to build the code. What we need to? Actually, this developer itself will build the code, but here we'll be learning from the developer point of view also how they build the code and how do they generate the var files, artifacts. What is that? So remember, Maven is all about two things here. So Maven will help you to build, and Maven will generate what? Artifacts. Maven will generate what? Artifacts. You need to remember these two things. Maven is very easy. There is nothing much technical here. So a little bit theoretically we'll learn, and then we'll move for the technical things. So do you remember there are different phases we have, right? So, okay, not phases. You didn't learn, right? So this one is, remember, we discussed about the DevOps pipeline overview, right? First, we go with the GitHub. And then what is the next phase? Build phase. Do you remember PCB TR DOM? Remember, plan, code, build. And then test, release, deployment, operation, and then monitoring. So here, till now, we have gone through the first one, which is planning is done. So next one, what we did? Coding, but we have not done the coding, but we have learned where that entire code is stored, that is in the GitHub, and how to do everything on the GitHub, we have learned completely. So the next phase is what phase? Build phase. Say that. What phase is the next? Build phase. So in the build phase, what we do? What we do? We do build. What we do down here? We do build. And how do we build it? Using a tool called Maven. So Maven is a build automation tool. Say that. Maven is a build automation tool. If someone asks you what is Maven, so what is Maven? Tell me. So Maven is a build automation tool. So the main, what is the purpose of the Maven? Maven is for which purpose? Build purpose. Maven is for build purpose, build purpose. So when I say build here, what the Maven will do is, Maven will download and install necessary what? Very good. Dependencies. So Maven is all about downloading and installing the dependencies. The whole entire line of the Maven is this one. So what it does, let's say developers will be developing a lot of code and they require a lot of libraries and a lot of DLS, lot of things, right? jar files, so many things they need. So they will not be downloading and keeping it readily available. No. So what they do is they will leave it on the Maven. Maven will help you to add all necessary dependencies for the code. Okay, now? Online, you're getting it? So, Maven is also called as project management tool. Say that. Maven is a project management tool. So why I say project management tool is you will be knowing it soon. So whenever you build any code, whenever you build the code, automatically this will generate different directories. What it generate? Different directories. Now in Maven, very importantly, we have something called life cycles, build life cycles. Say that. Build life cycles. Very, very important. Or you call it as build phases. Say that. Build phases. What are those build phases? Let's see. Number one. So Maven will validate the code. What it does? Validate. Maven will compile. Say that. Compile the code. Maven will test the code. Maven will package the code. Maven will install and Maven will deploy. Say that. Validate, compile, test, package, install, deploy. So you need to remember this. Tell me what are those phases? So Maven, validate, Maven, compile, Maven, test, Maven, package, Maven, install, Maven, deploy. So the Maven is all about these commands. Maven is all about these commands only. So simply what you need to do, if you have the code readily available from the developer, so what you need to do is simply install the Maven and then you need to run the command called Maven validate. So what it does, it will validate the code. Okay. Next, what it does, we will be saying, right, Maven compile. Say that. Maven compile. So once you do it, Maven will compile the entire code. Next, what it does, Maven test. So Maven, guys, for each and every phase, Maven will download the dependencies. Maven will download what? Dependencies. Let's say, for example, here a test is happening. So here it will download something called Surefire. What is that? Surefire. Surefire plugins it will download and it will test the code. It will test the code. Next, what it does, it will package the code. What it does, it packages it. And then it will install in particular directory. Deploy meaning you are deploying on some other server, but we are not using deploy here. We'll use deploy using Jenkins. Okay. So mainly here, which one we'll use is here. Validate is also, if you want, you can go and validate. So we don't install it. Installing meaning here you will be installing on a particular directory. Okay. So here last one is Maven clean. Say that. What is it? What it do? It will clean the entire directory. So mainly we use here compile, test, package, and clean. Say that. Compile, test, package, clean. So if you compile, the entire Maven will compile the code, right? And then yes, Naveen. So all this then Naveen is asking validation compile should be run on developer, should be done by the developer. Here everything will be done by the developer only. But here we are learning from the developer point of view also how they are. Guys, I told you, what is this? DevOps. DevOps meaning development plus operations. So you should not be chumma like, as I said, you should aware of what the developer is doing. That is the reason why Git I went that much deeper. Otherwise, we need only 3-4 commands for the Git. Git to push, Git to pull, Git to clone. Enough. But why we have learned so many commands? Because I want you to learn from the developer point of view also, just in case, right? Just in case, if you are talking to a developer, you should be able to talk to him in his language also. If the developer doesn't know the Maven, then you need to say, hey, install the Maven and do first validate. Then do what? Compile. Then do what? Test it. Package it. What we need is artifacts. What we need is what? We need to generally develop a job is, Babu. We will say, a developer, Just give me the artifacts. From there, our job will begin. Yes or no? But here I'm telling you how to generate that artifacts. It's good to know, right? So we'll talk on that, Kiran, also. We have set up tools for Python. So for each and every, yes, sir, what all you thought was very helpful. I always used to think about the codes and now able to understand. Very good, Rashmita. That's what. So for every technology, for every language, so you have a separate build tool. So this Maven is mostly used by Java. Which one? Java code. So if you have a Java code, the favorite tool for them for build purpose is what here? Maven. So there are so many other technologies and so many other build tools are also available. But here in our course, we'll be taking each and for every phase, we'll be taking one tool to learn. So which one we are taking here? Maven. So these are important. Maven is all about running these commands. Can you tell me what are those commands here? Maven validate. What's the command to run? Maven, MVN. What's that? MVN. What is the shortcut of Maven? MVN. So what's the command that we use? Maven validate, Maven compile, Maven test, Maven package, Maven install, Maven deploy, Maven clean. So inside this, validates is chumma because the code is clear all the time. But if you want to validate, validate it. But actually the main command is what here? Compile, test, package, and then clean. Got the point? Online? Online, you getting it? I mean, we learn setup tools. I'll talk about that also. Okay, so I told you Maven will generate what? Artifacts. Say that, Nana? Maven will generate artifacts. What's that? Artifacts, not artifacts. Artifacts. What's that? Artifacts. Artifacts. So artifacts can be from Java. There are different types of artifacts are there. For example, we have a jar file. Say that. Jar file, we call it as Java archive. Say that. Jar file is, what is the full form of jar file? Java archive. Next we have var file. What's that? Web archive. Say that. Next we have ER file. Enterprise archive. So out of this, which one we'll be using here? Var file. Which one we'll be using here? Jar file will be used by whom? Developers. So here we are using what file? Var file. Dot var. Say that. Dot var. What's the extension of the var file? Dot var. So if you want to know little bit about the Java, because we'll be using most of the time Java projects here in our course, and we'll use Node.js, React.js projects also here. So remember, .java developers will, anyway, Java developers here? Anyone knows Java? A little bit, huh? Okay. So do you remember .java? .java is what file? Huh? Java file. Yeah, it's a basic raw file or not? It's a Java file, right? It's a raw file. So, and then what is class file? Class file. Hey, you Java people, tell me. What is class? So after compiling, then you get this class. It generates the class. We call it as executable file. What is that? Executable file. So then you have .jar or .var. We call it as what? Artifacts. What do we have here? Artifacts. So .jar, it's a group of .classes file. Yes or no? Yes or no? .jar is a group of what? .class files. So it works for backend. It works only for what? Backend. .var is there. So .var, it contains It contains front end and then back end here. So dot var contains what? Front end and then back end. Front end meaning here, I'm talking about your HTML, CSS, everything will be there, JavaScript and all. Whereas back end meaning here, your actual Java code. Guys, yes or no? Java developers, correct? Okay, now see that little bit few seconds, those top, understand those Java. So what is that Java? Those are all Java files, right? Basic raw file that you write. And then once you compile, then you will get what? Dot class files, which is executable files. Then if you want to generate, so generate the dot jar file or dot var files or what? Artifacts. So dot jar, we'll use dot jar or dot var. Dot var. Why? Because var contain front end also, back end also. But whereas dot jar contains only back end. That meaning the Java code will be there inside it. But what we need? We need HTML, CSS, everything also, and then Java code also. So that var files contains the both front end and back end. That's why we use always dot var. Now you got clear why we use what are dot jar, dot er, dot var, what is the differences and all? Online clear? Online, are you with me? Okay. So how we have a heart? Heart is the main thing in our body or not? Similarly, for Maven, there is a heart. And that file, we call it as POM file. What file? POM file. Yes. Maven has pom.xml file. Say that. Pom.xml file. So this is a heart for Maven. So whenever you execute any commands, so the first Maven will look for which file, Nana? POM file. So the full form of POM is project object model. Say that. Project object model. POM file. So the question here is, what does the POM file contain? Guys, POM file contains, what is that? Dependencies. Very good. POM file contains what? Very good online. Dependencies. It contains dependencies. It contains what? Plugins. It contains what? Configuration. It contains all your project details. Say that. What does the POM file contains? Dependencies, plugins, configurations, project details. Dependencies meaning for your code, what all the dependencies is required, everything will get downloaded. And then plugins also will get downloaded here. So plugins meaning here, extra plugins. Plugins, you know, right? Plugins. So plugins meaning whatever the extra things that needs to be supported, all these things will get downloaded. So here mainly we have three majorly commonly used plugins in Maven. Say with me here, Maven compiler plugin. Say that. And then Maven, I told you for test purpose, Surefire plugin. What's that? And then last one here, Maven jar plugin. So these are the three plugins mostly commonly used in the Maven. What are those three plugins? Maven compiler plugin, Maven Surefire plugin, Maven jar plugin. What does the POM contains? Only dependencies, huh? Dependencies, plugins, configurations, project details. So project details meaning here, what are the project details? It contains something called group ID, say that. And it contains artifact ID. It contains which version you are running application and all the dependencies information will be there inside the project details. So what are the build phases in Maven? Tell everything. Mm. 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 Now tell me. Validate, compile, test, package, install, deploy. We will be using what? Compile, test, package, clean. Good memory power. Badam kha rahe ho? Okay, fine. So how do we run the commands run here? MVN. What is that? Tell me. MVN validate. Next, MVN compile. Next, MVN test. Next, MVN package. Next, MVN install. Next, MVN deploy. Next, MVN clean. This is how organic badam means. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. DevOps badam. Okay. Okay. So is it clear until here? So just a quick review, quick summary of what we have learned. So tell me, so we have different phases, no? So we have different phases, PCB, TR, dump phases, SDLC phases are there. First is planning, coding, next build, next test, next deploy, and then monitor to precise it, right? So the first phase we already learned, which is we already planned it, and then we already assumed that we coded it, and then we assumed, not assumed, we worked on how to store the code, right? That is phase one. So next phase is what is here? Build phase. So now the code is where? Where is the code now? GitHub. Where is the code now? GitHub. So in the GitHub, I already have a sample Java code. I already have a sample. Do you need to worry about how that Java code is written? What does it contain? No need to worry. There, these developers will automatically give us the POM file to us. Developers will provide us POM file. Otherwise, I'll show you. It's very standard. You don't need to buy hard it. You just copy paste it, or developers will automatically, they will give us the POM file. So they will keep in the GitHub the Java project with the POM file. Then what we do, we need to build that entire. So we need to get the data from GitHub using what command? Git louder. Git pull, git clone. Git. I'll come and pull you. I told you the difference between pull and clone. If you are working in the project technically, then you pull the code. If you are not working, if you just need a copy, then go for git clone. Now you are working, getting copy. Then which one? Okay. Git clone. Okay. So what we do is we launch one EC2 instance. We launch one EC2 instance, and then what we do? Git clone. Git clone that repository. And then my entire code will be on my EC2 instance or not? So my POM file will be there, Java code will be there. Now what I do? Maven validate. Enter. Do. Next command. Maven compile. Do. Like this, all the commands we need to execute. And then finally, when you do Maven package, what will generate? It will generate a warper artifacts. That is what the Maven is. So to run those commands, I'm teaching you all the theory about the Maven, what it contains. Okay. So now build phase here. What do we do in this build phase? We build it. What we do? We build. So which is a tool that used for build purpose? Maven. So can we say Maven is a build tool? And also called Maven is a project management tool. Which one? Your entire project will be nicely managed in different directories. I'll show you what are those directories. So, and what is the main purpose of the Maven? Build purpose only, but what it do? It will download and install what? Dependencies. Maven, without the word called dependencies, there is no Maven. Remember, whenever you are explaining anyone about the Maven, the word these dependencies is very important. So whenever someone asks you Maven, what do you say? Maven is a build tool which will help us to download and install what? Dependencies. This is the definition of Maven. Could I write that also? Tell me the definition. Maven is a build tool which will download and install necessary dependencies. This is the definition of Maven. Okay, now. So what file that Maven has? What's the heart of Maven? POM file. What's the full form of POM? Project Object Model. What does the POM file contains? Dependencies, plugins, configurations, and all project details. Project details meaning, remember, what are those? I want you to remember this because we'll be using that in some tools, right? So what are those it contains? Group ID, artifact ID, versions, and all dependencies will be there. So on the right side, I told you about little bit about the Java. So what is the raw files we call? .java, we call it as what? Raw file, basic raw file where we write the code. So if you compile the Java, then you'll get what? .class files. And that collection of .files, we call .class files, we call it as collection of .class files are called collection of .files. .class files are .jar files. What is that here? Jar files. So will it be good to use jar files or var files to deployment? Var file, because jar file contain only the backend, whereas var file contain front end plus backend. Okay, good. So Maven has something called goals. Say that. Goals. Goals is nothing but it's a task. What's that? Task. So what we have here is we have a developer. What the developer will do? Developer. Yeah. So developer develop the Java code or not? Yeah. So developer develops the Java code. Here we have a Java code. So where is this Java code now? Where is Java code? Where is Java code? In the GitHub. Okay. So from GitHub, what we need to do? What we need to do? Clone. Say that what we need to do? Clone. So once you clone it, then what we need to do here? Yes. So here you need to clone. Next, what we need to do here? Validate. Next, what we need to do? Compile. Next. Next. Test. Next. Package. Next. Install. Next. Next. The last one is clean. What are all these called? These are called goals. We can call it as build phases also, and we can call it as what here? Goals. So what the clone meaning here? We are cloning from where? Git. So we are from GitHub. And then validate meaning, Nana, validate it says, when you do the validate, project is correct or not. Validate will help us to check it. Project is correct or not. So compile. Compile meaning the code will get compiled or not. So it will compile all your .java files, yes or no? So developer will write all the Java files, right? So these Java files will be compiled and converted to yes or no? .class files. What is .class files? So what jar files? .jar meaning it's a collection of .class files. So .java files are there. When you compile it, it will generate what? .class files. So it is executable, right? So guys, all these things will be inside a directory called target directory. Which directory? Okay. Next, what here? Test. So this will take the help of which plugin here? Surefire. Say that. Surefire plugin, it will download and it will test the code. And then what it does it here? Package. Package meaning what it will generate? WAR file. This WAR file in which directory? Target directory. Which directory? And then what we have here? Install. What we have? So when you install it, it will install in the root. There is a home folder called .m2. Say that. Home directory. Which is the home directory? Which is the Maven home directory? You should say .m2. Say that. So .m2 is a Maven home directory. Remember. .m2 is a Maven home directory. So we will not be deploying on any other servers. So clean meaning here, it is completely cleaning the target directory. These are all called goals. What are these called? Goals. Clear? Online? Please, guys, this is very important. Can you please see the goals for a minute? Just try to read it by yourself. Okay, now? Not mandatory, Avinash. Pritesh, so test, we will not be doing any test, but if you run a command called Maven test, automatically download the Surefire plugins, and then you will test the code for any kind of issues. And then install, when you do the install, we will not be using install. I told you when you install, it will be installing on your one of the directory in your local machine. Okay. So when it install, it will create its own home directory. No, what's the home directory for Maven? .m2. Pritesh, okay. So this is from DevOps point of view. This is a single paint is enough for your Maven. So if you want to learn little bit more deeper onto it, so let's go this. We already learned it, but just a. So what is Maven? Maven is a build automation tool. You cannot see it, but you can take a photo and then zoom it. So I wrote this with the hands, but unfortunately it was small. Okay, see, Maven is a build automation and project management tool, primarily used for what purpose? Java-based projects. Which based projects are Java-based. So what it does, it helps manage a project, build process, dependencies, documentation, and reporting. So reporting meaning it will generate the Surefire plugins, and then it will do the test, it will combine, everything can be generated, one files will be generated to check the reports, whether what happened and how it has happened. So Maven uses what file here? POM file. What's the full form of POM? Project Object Model. to define the project structure. I told you it will create a different directories or not. So it will create the different directories. It will easy to handle the big projects also with that directories. So the POM file is the core of Maven project. So POM file is very, very important. What does it contain? It contains project details, dependencies, plugins, and all configurations. I told you no here. So it contains dependencies, plugins, configurations, and all project details. And the project details meaning what does it contain? It contains group ID, artifact ID, versions, all dependencies. Group ID meaning here identify the project's group. Let's say whichever the project that you're working on, boom.com, you can call it as boom group something. Right? Artifact ID, the name of the project or a module. Version is a project version number, version v1 dot something. Version numbers will be there. Right? Dependencies meaning, as I told you, it will automatically download all the dependencies of your project. And we also learn about the build life cycles. No, what are the build life cycles here? Validate, compile, test, package, install, deploy. What the validate meaning? Check if the project is correct and all necessary information is available. Whereas compile meaning it will compile the source code. Source code meaning what? The raw code. Right? And then test meaning it will run the unit test. As I told, Surefire will help you to do the checks, like whether unit test meaning here. I'll be talking about little bit on the test also, testing little bit, but not deeper. We are not testers here. But I'll tell you in coming days in what is the next tool that we're going to learn? Huh? Oh, I didn't tell you. Huh? Okay. Okay. Keep that suspense like that one. Right. So there are different types of testing like unit testing, smoke testing, right, and regression testing and all. So, but here we'll be doing what? Unit testing. So package, what it does, package the compile code into jar file or var file. So then install meaning it will install the package into the local repository, that means the local machine. Deploy meaning it will deploy the package to the remote repository. For what purpose? Sharing purpose. So we are not deploying using the Maven, we'll be deploying using Jenkins. So what are the three plugins, commonly used plugins here? Maven compiler plugin, Surefire plugin, and Java plugin. Someone is asking, sir, what are the other build tools that we have? I wrote it here. See, Java-based projects, we have Maven, that meaning Apache Maven. Maven is from Apache only. Gradle, say that. Remember, we learned the alternate tools, and then Ant. So these are all the alternate tools for Maven. Whereas Node.js applications are there, no? Every developer is different, right? Yeah, we don't discuss much on the testing, but I'll just give different types of testings, Manoj. Okay? Yeah, JUnit. So every developer will be developing, every developers will have their own coding language, right? Some developers develop Java code, some developers using Node.js and C, C++, Python, .NET. There are different programming languages are available. So if you guys are using Node.js, so the very famous build tool that we use is here, NPM. Say that. NPM meaning Node Package Manager. So we'll be doing a lot when we do the project, big projects in the end of the course, right? So we will be using here Node.js applications also, because Java applications will be using it, and then we'll use Node.js applications also to show you different types of applications. And there are not only NPM, we have Webpack, Parcel, Grunt, Gulp, Rollup. All these are all different alternate build tools for Node.js. For C, C++, remember, I don't know, at least I remember when I was in college days, Super C, C++, I used to write a lot of programs, right? For that, we use what? Make. To build the NSC program, what we use? Make or CMake. Meson and then Ninja is also there. Here. We use make files for daily for C. Avinash, very good. Yeah. So for Python, I told you, right, very commonly used build tool is what? Setup tools. Say that. Setup tools is a build tool for the Python projects, and also Poetry or also build. For .NET is from the Microsoft. For it has its own build tool called MS Build. So you can use MS Build, very commonly used, or else Cake. What is that? Cake and Nuke. What is that? Nuke. So it's up to you. So we already discussed about the common Maven commands. Okay, now? Tejas, sure. We'll doing one Python project. We'll do with Flask also. Okay. We'll do with the Flask. Okay. We already learned this. Nice. Okay, Nana. Is it clear? Till here, everyone? So this is the, we use JFrog. We use JFrog, we use Nexus. We use Nexus and S3. Very good. We don't use JFrog. We use what? Nexus and S. Every company have a different tools. I'm saying, right? It's up to you. But the as you are AWS engineers, it's highly recommended to store your artifacts in S3 rather than Nexus. Because if it is Nexus, then what you need to do? You need to launch one, set up one EC2 instance, install Nexus, and then you need to maintain that machine. No. If it is S3, do you need to maintain? Create a bucket, put it inside, enable the versioning. Okay. Whereas Nexus will take care of versioning by itself. You need to manage, maintain, a lot of things. Right? Yeah. Chennakeshava, I said we'll go with the Nexus and S3. No need to go for multiple tools in one phase. Okay. If you need, I'll help you with some other things. Yeah. GitHub main purpose is, Aniket, to store the code, not the artifacts. No one has, I've been maintaining so many projects, we never stored artifacts in the GitHub, right? So either you can store the artifacts in where? S3. At least I've been asking my entire team different, as I'm a consultant, I work on multiple things. So I'm asking all of them to migrate their Nexus to S3. So it will reduce the cost also. So no need to maintain the Nexus machine separately. S3 automatic backups versioning is there. It's reduced a lot of effort, right? So that's why I'm asking them to migrate to S3. It's very easy to do that also. Yeah. So now what we do, Nana, here, should we go, as I told you, if you have, so Maven phases, see, you have a raw code, right? Raw code meaning what code is that? Java code for now. Java, etc. So here I go with the Java code. So then what we do with that raw code, we will build it, we will test it, we will artifact it, and then we will deploy it. Yes or no? Yes or no? What we'll use here? Raw code is where? Where is your raw code? GitHub. So this is GitHub. This one is Maven. And this one is SonarQube. And this one is S3 or Nexus. And this one is Jenkins. Okay. Very good, no? Now you're able to relate, Nana. So very good. So the thing is here, but in the Maven, we will do all these things manually. In Maven, we do all these things manually. But whereas in Jenkins, we do all these things automatically. That's the difference between Maven and Jenkins. Anyways, I'll not be keeping that suspense anymore. From tomorrow, we'll be entering into Jenkins. Which one? Because here today I'm showing the Maven, how to build it manually, how to test it, how to generate the artifacts, how to deploy it. So there is one more, we have a deploy option right here. We have a deploy, but we'll not be using the deploy. I told you deployment will be happening through Jenkins. So here, all these things Maven is doing for us, but this is manual. What this is? Manual. So to make it automatically, we use what? Jenkins. We'll integrate Jenkins with the GitHub. We'll integrate the Jenkins with Maven. We'll integrate the Jenkins with SonarQube. We'll integrate the Jenkins with S3. We'll integrate the Jenkins and do the deployment to the EC2 or anywhere. CI, continuous integration. And if you are deploying, then CD, continuous deployment. Okay. So I told you about the different types of jar warrior files, right? And then I told you about the Maven, right? And Nana here, Maven is written on what? Java. So what we need to have Java is mandatory to install the Maven. So Maven works on what? Java. So this has been developed in 2004, right? And then what is the home path, home directory for Maven? .m2. What is the Maven main file? POM file. Let's do the lab. So what we do, we go and launch which one here? Amazon AL2. So we'll go and launch Amazon Linux 2. And then what we do, we need to install what first? Java. We'll install Java and we'll install Maven. So can we install? Okay. We can install in one line also, right? Or else yum install Java, yum install Maven, yum install wget. Yeah, why? So can you write yum install Java, Maven? Remember tree also? Tree package I told you. So if you want to see the entire directories, you can install tree and see, right? So we have a tree also. Let's install all the things in one shot. And then how to check the Maven version? mvn minus v. And then what we need to do? Yes. So here we are installing Git also here. So why we install Git? Because we need to clone the repository to the local. That's the reason why we install Git. So we are installing here Java also because Maven works on Java. And then we need also tree to see all the directories. As I told, Maven is a project management tool also, right? So because it will create a different directories. If I want to show you different directories, I use a command called tree. If you hit tree, it will show all nice in the hierarchical order. And then we have the Maven life cycles. Remember, we learned about the goals, right? So what are the things we need to run first? We will run Maven validate. If you want Maven validate, run it. Otherwise, we will go for Maven compile. Next Maven test. Next Maven package. Next Maven install. Next Maven clean. That's it. Should we do it now? Yes. So we need to install what here? So we need to launch Amazon Linux 2. I call it as here Maven. And then I go with Amazon Linux 2. T2 micro is fine. And then go ahead and then launch. So meanwhile, so in the GitHub, so there is a repository that I have where you can use that repository because I have, so for building purpose, we need to have a Java code, right? So for that, go and search for Java project Maven new, this one. So, almost 122 people, what they did, fork it, right? So I want you also to fork it because there is a source code and then also form. So everyone online out there, just open that link and then fork. You know how to fork it, right? So just here, click on fork. Fork it now. If you have phones also, if you can do. Meanwhile, I'll go and log in. In your phone also, go to GitHub, log in, and then search my name, Riyaz Sheikh, and then if possible. Otherwise, you can go and do it later. Guys, everyone fork it online. If you have done yesterday's practicals, then you know how to fork it. Otherwise, fork, what sir, fork. So like this, if you find any nice repositories from other accounts, simply what you need to do, fork it and keep it in your account, right? Yeah. Hmm. 10 members forked. 10 members only for. How about online people, others? You don't even care. It's up to you. If you want to do the practicals, fork it. Okay. It was 122 and now it is 131. That means how many people? Almost 10 people forked. Huh? Online people, rest all 70, 80 members are simply listening my beautiful voice. Okay, so no problem. See here. Okay, now see. So I'm setting up the host name called Maven. So sudo hyphen I. Okay. So what we need to do here first, we need to install, right? What are the things we need to install? Yum install -y. We need to install what? Git. And then we need to install what here? Java. So I am just going for 1.8 hyphen open JDK. And then I'll install what? Maven. And then I'll install what here? Pre also hyphen y. Okay. So do you see installations are done? And then what we need to do? So we have the Git here already. So Git version is here. Okay. Guys, what we need to do? We need to clone the repository or not? Tell me how to clone it. Git clone and then how to get that URL? Code. Very good. Just copy this and then put it over here. Enter. If we do ls, so I have my project here locally available. So go to Java inside this. If you do ls, so I have my pom.xml. So as I told you, for Maven, POM file is important. Whether if there is no POM file, there is no Maven. So what is this in source file? Don't worry about it because I have the entire code inside it. We have the code. Do you worry about the code? No need. So if you go to the source, so do you see all the Java main, right, apps inside it, right? Some Java files are there, JSP files. Everything will be inside it. Okay. Okay, fine. So now, what are the commands that we need to execute now here? So we need to have a Maven life cycles are there or not? So what are the life cycles like goals? Number one is Maven validate. So first check Maven mvn-v. So Maven is there or not? What is the command to check the Maven version? mvn-v. Do you see Apache Maven? This is installed. Okay. And then what we need to do? mvn validate. What's the first thing we need to do? Validate. Maven validate. So what it says in here? Success. What is that here? Success. That meaning it is not, we don't have any issues with the code. That is the first phase. And next, Maven compile. So what is you see downloading? No, what is downloading? It is downloading the dependency. See how many it is downloading, and then it will start installing all the dependencies. So guys, I have the, okay, see, I have the .java files. .java files are raw files or not? So once I compile it, it will create what files? .class files. Where it will, what it will create? .class. So I'll just see here. It will, okay. See, compiling one source file. See here, it has created what directory? Target directory. Inside this, it created a class files. So if I put a tree, do you see here? Don't worry about all these things. So that Java file is there, no? So in the source, we have the Java file is there. So now it created what file? Target here created a target and created what file here? Class file. Understood? So we have the target file. Inside that, we have what directory? Classes. Inside the classes, it created .class file. Do you have any test? Do you have any test here? Test directory? All right. So here we have .java file here under this. Now see, what's the next command? Maven compile. After Maven compile, what we need to do? Maven test. See, now Maven test. Now it is downloading all these things. And you see here, it will say Surefire plugins will get downloaded automatically. So, do you see here? Surefire. Now also here, build success. So here, it has created the test. Let's do the tree now. And do you see here? Previously, we have the target file, and then here it has created what here? Surefire. Do you see the reports here? TXT file. So that meaning, so it will test the code, it will do the unit test, and it will generate the report. Test is also done here. What's the next thing that we need to do? Come in. MVN package. What this will do? It will create the artifacts. Do you see this here? Building var. And where is that? Inside our directory. In the target, it has created, what is it here? myapp.var. Why it says myapp.var? Because in our GitHub, in the pom.xml, so I have given the name as here, myapp. I told you in the POM file, what we have here? We have group ID, we have artifact ID, and we have packaging. Your packaging, what is your artifacts here? var file. If you put jar, you will get the jar files. And then this is the version, and this is the name. And these are all the dependencies whatever that it has need to be downloaded. Okay. These are all the project details. Okay. So now it has created the war file. If I do here tree now, and do you see this war file here? In which directory? Under target directory. Yeah. War file got generated. So this is the output of our Maven. So we have this war file which contain front end and then back end. So we will take this war file and then we'll deploy onto the, we'll use Jenkins to deploy onto the EC2 instance. So these Java applications are there, right? So can you tell me now, your Java applications, if you want to deploy, what is the application server you need? What do you need? Tomcat. What do you need? Tomcat. Yes or no? So what we need to do? So we need to launch one EC2 instance and then what? Install Tomcat inside it. And then, guys, here for Apache, what is the default directory? /var/www/html. For Nginx, /usr share nginx/html. Like this, for Tomcat also there is a web apps directory. So if you put this .war file in that web apps, automatically Tomcat will extract this war file and then application will be deployed. Right? We will be learning about that Tomcat later. Okay. Online, you're getting it? Sorry. Okay, so now package has been created. So next, what is the next command? So actually, we got the war file. That is enough or not? So we can ignore rest of the things because what we need here is war file. So if at all you want to install here, so what is the command that you use here? MVN install. Do you see where it got installed here? /root/m2. So inside this M2 repository, so Riaz, my app, and this has generated or not here? Do you see war file got generated here or not? So this is in your /root m2 repository here. Your war file got generated over there also. But we have the war file here, right? So if you want to set up this war file in separate directory, then go for MVN install. Got it? So what is the last thing here we do? MVN clean. What we do here? MVN clean. So if we do MVN clean, okay. Now if I do clear and if I put tree, so do we have anything here now? Or it is back to normal or not? So did it clean all your target directory or not? Remember target directory. Which one is that? Where is your war file? Inside the target directory. So whenever next is Jenkins, whenever the Jenkins build automatically, so it will create a target directory. And where do you go and check your war file? Inside this target directory only. And whenever you do clean, what's that? Whenever you do clean, so automatically it will clean the entire directory. Now, sir, do I need to run these goals one by one, like Maven validate, Maven compile, Maven test, Maven package? Instead of doing all these things, we can have only one command now. Simply write Maven clean package. Say that. What's the command? Remember, this command will not be using one by one command. So we'll be just using this single command where it will do everything. Where it will do everything. Say that. What's the command? Maven clean package. See, it will do everything for us. See, it is testing or not? Now test is happening and done. So do you see this war file got generated or not? So it has compiled, it has packaged, it has tested, and then finally it has generated the war file. So in coming days, so instead of going with the step by step, if you want to run Maven in one single line command, then use Maven clean package. Online, no? Clear? If there is no Maven, this build tool, can we create the artifacts? No. Can we create the project structure? No. Can we build and deploy the applications? No. So this is the problems without Maven. So Maven help us here to build it, generate the artifacts. Guys, and this Maven, we are doing it automatically or manually? Automatically or manually? Manually, right? So we are using Maven compile, Maven package, Maven test, Maven install, deploy, everything manually we are doing it, right? So if you want, so Maven is a automation tool only. Maven is a automation tool, but we are doing it manually. We are doing it manually. If you want to automate this entire goals and entire process, the next tool that we're gonna learn is what? Jenkins. Which one is that? Jenkins. So Jenkins is also a build tool. So if we cannot say build tool, it's a continuous integration server, which will help to integrate all this tool for build purpose. All this tool for what purpose? Build purpose. Clear enough? Understood Maven? This is all about Maven. Clear? Online, no? Is it clear? So as we have time, should we learn a little bit about the Jenkins? The overview of it? Okay, na? Online? Okay, see. See here. You know what is the purpose of going to Jenkins? For automation. Very good. What is the purpose of Jenkins that we are going here? Automation. So before going to the Jenkins, I'll talk about before Jenkins, how people will do. Before Jenkins, I'm talking about what? Because you know, right? I have a habit of saying what is there before and then before and after, right? So I'm talking about here before Jenkins, how they do it. So you remember Agile methodology, right? So we have Agile methodology, like, you know, what we have. Remember Scrum? Remember Scrum? We learn about Scrum, right? And then the another one we call it as Kanban. What is that? Kanban board. Kanban is, this is also one of the something from Agile methodology. Scrum meaning what? I told you there will be a sprints, collection of sprints. We call it as release. And then every day morning, this Scrum Master. Okay, I'll tell you one thing here. Let me give you this information also. If you have a project, obviously there will be developers. What is that? There will be a developer. Developers are there. On top of it, who will be there? Team leader will be there. On top of it, who will be there? Manager will be there. On top of it, who will be there? Product owner will be there. On top of it, who will be there? Client will be there, for example. Okay. So client will communicate to whom? PO. PO meaning what here? Product owner or project. We call it as product owner. What is that? Product owner. Product meaning whatever the service that you are delivering, it's a product for us. So we call it as product owner, right? I also worked as product owner in one of the company, right? Product owner, where he is the person who always talk to the client and get the requirement. So that requirement will be given to whom? Manager. So manager will give the information to whom? Team leader. And who is the guy who works actually here? team leader. So team leader, what he'll do is, he'll create the task. What he'll do? He'll create the task. So if we have here 20 developers, for all 20 developers, he will create how many tasks? 20 tasks. And these 20 tasks need to be completed in one sprint. How many sprint? One sprint meaning how many days? 2 weeks. So here, now, this sprints, these entire projects, they will say in 5 sprints, we'll complete the project. How many sprints? 5 sprints. So here, if one sprint is 2 weeks here, after 2 weeks, what will happen? So there will be discussion with the client. So whatever that these developers has developed, so we'll be shown to the client. Remember Agile model. Remember Agile model. So we'll show to the client and then we'll get the feedback from him and then we'll do the changes. And then second sprint will start. Second sprint. Like this, third sprint. Like this, fourth sprint. Like this, fifth sprint. After that, project will be completed. So, but here, where the Scrum will come? The Scrum concept comes here is whenever the team leader has divided the task and then created it, team leader will not follow up to the developers. Team leader will not follow. Let's say I'm the team leader. So all you people are there here. Everyone have their own task or not? So I'll be introducing one person here in between team leader and developer called Scrum Master. Who is that? Scrum Master. So this Scrum Master responsibility is to make the things work. So he is the guy who will be in touch with all these 20 developers and find out the status of your task. So you have completed the work or not, right? Are you having any problems? Are you got stuck with anything? Do you want to collaborate with some other team or not? Are there any dependencies with the other team or not? Everything will be taken care by Scrum Master. So every day morning, by the time you come to the office at 9 o'clock, every day, the first call will be Scrum call. And this is the everyone's employees' hatest call is Scrum call. I know. Because I was there since there, we went to the product or this is mandatory or not? From this we will go on to the top. Yes or no? So I have been here, not from the client. So from till here only. So here, see, online people are saying true, sir. So this is one of the hatest call because, see, if someone come to you and ask you, what you have done today? Are you interested to say? Generally? Now, let's say, for example, I have given you a project to do. And then I said, complete it by tomorrow. Some people have completed. Some people have not completed. Now I ask, let's say, Abhi is not completed. Let's say, Abhi, tell me what you are doing since morning to evening. Tell me what you are doing. Why didn't you complete the project? What you are doing? Tell me. Morning, 9 o'clock. At what time you wake up? 9 o'clock. What you are doing till 9 to 12 o'clock? 12 to 1, we went for the food. Okay. For 1 to 2, what you did? 2 to 4, what you did? 4 to 5, what you did? What you did? Sir, sir, are you having any problems? No problem. Then finally he'll say that what? Next time he come next day, sir, my GitHub is not working, sir. You should tell me now. Entire day got wasted or not? Yesterday you would have told me yesterday that GitHub is not working. I would have arranged something, alternate things for you. You wasted the one day and next day you're coming and telling to me that the GitHub is not working. So you wasted 8 hours. So why I'm acting as a manager now? Okay. So this is how exactly the manager will scold him. Right? And the Scrum Master will also scold him like this because so every day morning 9 o'clock, 15 minutes Scrum call will be there. So what happens is everyone must and should join the call and everyone have only 1 minute to talk. So in that 1 minute, every person need to tell what you have done yesterday and what you're gonna do today. 2 things all the time. What you have done yesterday, what's the update of yesterday's task? and what you're going to do today. So this Scrum Master will note down everything. And next Scrum call, he will ask, what is the status of that? What is the status of this today? And we have Jira. I told you Jira. So this task will be created in Jira, and the task updates need to be done into the Jira. And then as a team leader or a manager, I will not come to the developer or Scrum Master to check what is the status. I'll check Jira. And from Jira, I'll get the report. Who is doing what? Which task is done by which person? How much time? How many story points? That meaning how many hours you are spending in that? And are you free or not? Everything I'll get it from Jira reports. Got it? So this is how your entire real time works. Online experience people, yes or no? I think you might have related nicely now, right? So this is called Scrum. What is this called? Scrum. So Scrum Master responsibility is to maintain the entire team to make sure that the work has been done or not. Okay. So that is Scrum. Next one is what here? Kanban. Say that. Kanban board. Let's say for example, for AWS engineers, Scrum concept will work good for developers. For developers. Kanban board is like, let's say for example, you are my team members. I have asked you for you, Abhi, to launch EC2 instance, right? For Ajay, Vijay, Gopi, create load balancer. You go and create RDS. You go and create EFS. You go and create. For this, do I need sprint? Do I need sprint? Do I need to? Will you say that, sir? This will take 1 day, 1 minute, 1 day, 2 hours, 2 days to launch EC2 instance. Do you need that? Simply what I do, I'll create a task for you and then assign to you, complete it and drag it to complete. That's it. So if you don't want to track the number of hours, so you just need to track the tasks, then go for Kanban concept. What is that? Kanban. So Nana, these all will come under a topic called ITIL. Say that. So when you have grown up little bit in the industry, so complete this ITIL certification, which will help you to do a lot of quality things. Okay, so ITIL is good for you, and then if you have done a Scrum Master certification also, which is also good for you. Good for you. Side munching type. Okay. Okay, online you understood till here? That is, okay, Agile methodology if you have either Scrum or Kanban. So developers will develop the code. And guys, finally, where do they push the code? GitHub. So which is the SCM that you are using? GitHub. Which is that? GitHub. We can call it as SCM also, and we can call it as VCS also. What is that? What's the full form of VCS? Huh? Version control system. So SCM, source code management. So all your developers, what they do, they push the code to the GitHub. It can be GitHub also, it can be Bitbucket also, it can be GitLab also. Which one we are using here? GitHub. Next, what is the next phase of that we have here? Build. What is the next phase? I'm talking about before Jenkins. So there is a special team will be there. Only we call it as build team. What team? There is a special team. I still remember those days. So there is a separate team will be there, build team. The purpose of there is they'll get the code from the repository, and what they do, they build it. What they do? They build. Build process contains so many goals or not. What? They need to validate, they need to compile, they need to test, they need to package, they need to install, clean, everything. All these things will be done. And finally, what they need to generate? They need to generate the verb. All these things will be done what? Manually. And then we will be doing the testing also, right? And there is a separate test team will be there. What is that? Testing. What they do, they write the manual test cases, whether all whatever they're expecting is working or not. And if something goes wrong, they will send it to the developer or not again. The reports will be sent to the developer. This is manual process. This is what? So to automate all these things, what we have here is Jenkins. What we have here is Jenkins. So as I told you, I'll tell you a little bit about different types of testings. No need to worry about, just keep that in mind. So number one is what here? Unit testing. Say that. Then a unit testing meaning simple. It is very simple that whatever the code that developer has developed, a piece of code, it can be a function, it can be a method, it can be a class, it can be anything, a piece of code, and that is properly working or not, working as expected or not, we call it as unit testing. So now you tell me this unit testing will be done by whom? Testers or developer? Okay, I'm telling you again. Let's say I'm a developer. I wrote a small function. A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Done. Function. That function is working or not will be tested by developer or tester. Developer only, no? He wrote that function, whether he has that is correct or not, he need to check it first, no? So this will be done by what? Developer. So most of the time, unit testing will be done by developer. Right? Next, what we have here, smoke testing. Say that. So once you perform the build, all the critical functionalities of the work application are working or not, you need to check. That is called what? Smoke testing. What is that? After building it. After building it, this will be done by whom? Testers. Okay, next one is regression testing. Say that. Regression testing meaning you have done some changes to the code. Developer has done the changes to the code. Because of that, what happens is, this one is very funny. Okay, I need to, no, so no time for jokes now. It's 29 already. Okay, so what happens is, it always happens in my team. What they do is, they will create a new feature. They'll create a new feature. With that, I'll be happy that my developers came up with a new feature and they deploy it. And unfortunately, because of that new feature, old feature will stop working. Old feature will stop working. So if you want to check whether it has negatively impacted or not my existing functionality, if you want to check, if you are checking it, then we call it as what here? Regression testing. What is that? Next, functional testing. Nana. Functional testing meaning, as I said, it validates the functionality of the application. If you are clicking on something, that click is happening or not. So what expectation? What exactly? How it should work? So we call it as what? Functional. That function is working or not. If I click on into, it should close. If I write it, it should write. So that is a functionality testing. And finally, UAT testing. What do we call? User acceptance testing. Say that. So this is the final phase of the software testing where the end user will test the application. Remember pre-pod? Pre-pod is also called as UAT, user acceptance testing. That meaning client will test your actual application. If he say that go, then we go and deploy to the production environment. So these are the different types of testings. So this is how you do it before Jenkins. And then tomorrow, so you complete the today's practicals, Maven. So tomorrow, I'll be on leave because today is 27. So you know, right? So today night we need to, because of Ramzan festival, so we need to awake today's night. You know, right? Hyderabad is, today night it will be a jam in entire Hyderabad. So I'll be awake all the night. So it is very difficult to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning because from evening 6:30, so morning till 5:30 we'll be awake. So if I sleep for 1 hour also, I'll be coming and then doing like this and telling to you, teaching to you. It's better to take off tomorrow. And anyways, on the Ramzan, we'll have a 1 day fest off. And then I don't have anything else. So, yeah. So we don't have class tomorrow. And then Saturday we have class. We'll talk on Saturday. Okay, na? Okay. So only tomorrow there will not be class. So next class will be on Saturday. Do not dare to miss the class because we'll be starting Jenkins. We'll be starting what? Jenkins. If possible, if the Saturday class, if the next people, no one is there, then we'll try to extend little bit. It's fine, no? It's okay, just for fun. Like half an hour, a little bit more learning we'll be doing it, right? So spend, if there is no next class here, then we'll extend for a little bit more because I am taking the leave tomorrow. Okay, na? So, okay, so we have a class on Saturday. Don't miss it. Only tomorrow we don't have class. Yeah. So can you give me the final CC for today? Or you want to take the screenshot? Please take it. Take the screenshot first. And I'll upload there is nothing to upload. What is there? Few comments. What is there? Maven, validate. So you need to install. Anyways, I will upload. You need to install the Git and the Java and the tree and then run those comments. Take the screenshot. Hmm? Yeah. Take the second one. I think both are same. And the last one. Okay. Thank you. No, Dinesh. So, guys, we have a class on Saturday for sure. Okay. I actually I thought to come tomorrow also, but because of that, my health might be problem. Because of that, I might put some other leaves later, right? Instead of that, it's better to take off. That's the reason. So I don't like to put the. Do I put the holidays? Never. I don't unless my voice box should be good, right? Okay. All right, Anna. So can you get the final CC for today, please? So that is all for today. Let's connect day after tomorrow on Saturday with the Jenkins. Until then, take care. Have a nice day. See you day after tomorrow. Don't miss the class. Bye-bye.